Scorsese. Get you whacked, ain't nobody made me. I'm the godfather of this shit, godfather. And you ain't gon' sell me like a bitch. Godfather. Corleone. Shoot. Like Scorsese. Ain't nobody made me. I ain't no bitch.
Your boy is back. That's right. It's the kid, Marcel Pierre, back with championship rounds. I've been stewing for a little bit. And there's a lot that's happened, a lot in the news. And I pretty much came back to pick a bone, if you will. I'm here to pick bones. All right. 2, if I'm being frank. A lot of talk about who's the pound for pound king. Who's the GOAT? Put that back up there. A lot of false GOATs out there. Going to get that up there. Yes, I'm talking about people giving people more than what, they're entitled to. Now, I don't want to get off on the wrong foot. The people that I'm going to talk about here are without a doubt some of the most decorated and most brilliant and skilled mixed martial artists of all time. But are they the GOAT? When people say that they are the GOAT, are they speaking facts or are they just speaking their biased fucking opinion? I'm going to go with the opinion. I'm going to start and make this short and sweet. Again, it's championship rounds. Marcel Pierre. And while you're here, go ahead and like, share, comment, subscribe. We're still trying to push up to monetization, almost halfway to the money. We're going to keep going with that effort. But again, yes, like, share, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments. Of course, I want to know. But the first person I'm going to talk about is Stipe Miocic. Now, even John Jones, when he defeated Cyril Gane in a laugher, says, "Oh, I'm so excited, Stipe. You know what I mean? I would take off from being a firefighter. Take this seriously. I want to beat you so bad. I want you so bad." Even Daniel Cormier, after succumbing to 2 defeats in a row to Stipe, has dubbed him the greatest heavyweight of all time. Well, I just want to break that down. Again, this theme is false GOATs. Stipe Miocic just flat out ain't the greatest heavyweight of all time. And I really don't care how you slice it. I don't. I'm going to make you a believer. That's what I do. I make non-believers into believers. There is no way in hell you're going to tell me that the greatest heavyweight of all time was knocked out by Stephen Skyscraper motherfucking Struve. All right? I'm not going. Stephen Skyscraper Struve knocked you out and you're the greatest heavyweight of all time. You know what? There's more. There is more. Now, that was in 2012, and people are like, "Oh, it's 2023. Come on, Marcel. That was forever ago." Fine. How about Cigano, Junior Dos Santos, JDS, after having the wars he had with Cain Velasquez, where he was never the same, he was still good enough to beat Stipe Miocic within 5 rounds. It was a main event. And people want to jump out there and say, Stipe won that fight. He got robbed. Be that as it may, 3 judges turned in their scorecards for 5 rounds of fighting, and they all scored it unanimously for JDS. Now, I know Stipe eventually went and beat JDS, but come on, JDS barely had anything left when he defeated Stipe the first time. Of course, he was on his way out of the promotion. Stipe picked up that W. Fun fact, Stipe Miocic does not have a win over any active UFC fighters. Put that in the perspective. The man doesn't hold a win over anyone in the UFC right now. And that's just the facts. You want to talk about how Daniel Cormier came up to the weight class and knocked his ass out? Became the champ? Yeah, he defeated Daniel Cormier in the next fight. Great game plan, started going to the body, took him out. And in the third fight, won a decision. Fair and square. What about the guy that he wrestle fucked for 5 rounds and Francis Ngannou, and then they fought again, and yeah, he got knocked the hell out again. So all these times that he's getting knocked the hell out, you're wanting to tell me that he's the greatest heavyweight of all time? No, this is a false GOAT, a fake GOAT. He ain't the GOAT of the heavyweight division. You know who is. Fedor Emelianenko. That's the damn GOAT. Put some respect on his fucking name. I'm so sick of these people thinking that, hey, to be the GOAT, you got to fight in the UFC. No. Not only is Fedor Emelianenko the GOAT, he's fought and defeated more UFC champions than Stipe. Facts. Count them. I'm not going to sit here and catalog them for you. I already did the research and I already know the past. But yes, Fedor has defeated more UFC title holders than Stipe Miocic. How about from going from 2000 to 2009 undefeated? Almost 10 years undefeated, and no, I don't count the 17-second in the tournament in Japan, the second round where Fedor was cut and they called it in 17 fucking seconds. No, that's not a loss. The man was undefeated for 9 years, almost 10 years. Pride champion, defeated the likes of many heavyweight greats. Again, Krokop, Nogueira, UFC champions like Arlovsky, Tim Sylvia. Look, I can go down the list. But the fact of the matter is that Fedor's resume destroys that of Stipe Miocic, whom, let's be honest, fought Verdum, won the belt. Verdum basically ran into punches. What was he thinking? Only he knows. And then, you got your title defenses against a washed JDS, a Francis Ngannou who had no takedown defense at the time. I mean, obviously you beat DC. Fair play to you. But at the end of the day, they call him the greatest heavyweight of all time because he's got the title defense record, which is what, 3? And now he's got 4 all time because he got the belt back, right? Or was that just him getting the belt? No, because he defended against DC. So he's got 4 title defenses all time, and that makes him the GOAT. I don't subscribe to that. Stipe Miocic having the most title defenses does not make him the greatest heavyweight of all time because there's a man named Fedor Emelianenko. Fedor Emelianenko. So long as his resume exists, Stipe's will pale in comparison. But I'm not done. No, I'm not done. I'm moving on to a fighter that some dub as the greatest fighter of all time. Now, it wasn't always like that. Hell, when he was in his prime, and I'm talking about Georges St-Pierre, they were calling Anderson Silva the greatest of all time. Well, Anderson Silva got old, got beat, popped after the Diaz fight, tarnished his legacy, so to speak. So now a lot of people don't look at him when they're looking at or talking about the greatest fighter of all time. But they'll talk about Georges St-Pierre with revisionist history. And I say that because Georges St-Pierre gets the nod because he never popped for performance-enhancing drugs. So he's the guy, he's the one. I'm going to tell you why he's not the one. Georges St-Pierre in his prime tapped to an armbar that was applied by one Matt Hughes before it was even fully put in. Georges St-Pierre was already tapping. Tapping like a motherfucker. Doesn't stop there. In his prime, split decision. BJ Penn. In his prime, taps to strikes, upset of the century. Matt Serra. In his prime. This is your GOAT. This is the greatest fighter of all time. Like I said, Georges St-Pierre is great. Stipe is great. Are they GOATs for real? I mean, if you want to call him the greatest welterweight of all time, I'll give you that. But greatest fighter of all time? Let me go on. BJ Penn, the first champion versus champion fight. Let's not forget the accusations of greasing from one Georges St-Pierre. Looks like his corner was rushing to apply that fucking grease. So BJ Penn couldn't get his dick mittens on him and get him down. Compromising situations. And the elephant in the room, Johnny Big Rig Hendricks, whom everybody thought won that fight. But GSP got out of there with the dub. Respect. Got out of there with the dub. But you know what? A lot of people used to talk about GSP. Oh, he's boring. He's boring. He's just going to lay on you. He's going to take you down, and he's going to lay on you. That's so boring. And now they want to talk about him like he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Revisionist history. People were not overly enthralled with Georges St-Pierre's method of fighting. They weren't. But if you ask them about him today, they'll talk about it like it was the most exciting shit ever. When really, they were asleep. They were fucking asleep. Then he comes back and he beats Michael Bisping to pick up his second belt in the middleweight division. Michael Bisping, who was ducking Yoel Romero, Robert Whittaker to fight Dan Henderson. Old ass Dan Henderson, who I thought won the fight across the pond. I thought Dan Henderson won the fight, neither here nor there. So now you fight GSP, and GSP says, yeah, after I fight Michael Bisping, I will fight number one contender. Wrong. He vacated the title. He didn't fight Romero or Whittaker. It was Whittaker he was supposed to fight at the time. He did not sign to fight Whittaker. He retired again. And I'm supposed to be overly impressed and say, oh, well, this pushed him over the hump. Beating Michael Bisping for the middleweight title pushed him over the hump. When, let's be honest, Michael Bisping beat Luke Rockhold, but was he the greatest middleweight in the world even when he held the belt? I don't think so. I think Yoel Romero would have separated him from consciousness, and I think Robert Whittaker would have took his damn lunch money. But you know who slipped in there and took his lunch money before he had the opportunity to? Yeah, George rushed his ass in there and took that shit. So again, how can the greatest fighter of all time tap before a armbar is applied? Tap to strikes. Allegations of greasing. When the going got tough, he took his ball and went home. Johnny Hendricks beat him. But the records say he didn't. And then you come back and you pick off Michael Bisping. He was ripe for the damn picking. Everybody in the middleweight division wanted to fight Michael Bisping. Respect to him. And then after you beat him, he goes in and gets the hell knocked out of him by Kelvin Gastelum. So he was going to lose that belt. Whoever he fought next is what it seems like. You're getting knocked out, not getting your head knocked off your damn shoulders by Kelvin Gastelum. You're probably going to lose the belt. Had Izzy in the wings and shit. Who is the greatest fighter of all time? Well, it's simple. It's Jon Jones. You cannot tell me a guy that started fighting in 2008 whom still hasn't been beaten to this day, and now came in there and picked off a win over a guy that was the most dangerous striker in the heavyweight division outside of that. I mean, even more dangerous than Francis Ngannou, because we've seen that fight. Francis went to wrestling because he couldn't strike with Cyril Gane. So how is Jon Jones not the greatest fighter of all time? Because it definitely ain't Georges St-Pierre. It definitely ain't Georges St-Pierre. Jon Jones, from 2008 to 2023, undefeated. He's got one split decision to Maheta Thiago Santos, who just lost in the PFL just this weekend or last weekend or whatever. But one split decision in his whole career. And never once did you think, oh, John's about to get finished. Well, I guess the Vitor Belfort armbar was the closest that anyone ever thought that he was going to get finished. And that didn't even happen. That didn't even happen. Oh, well, Gus was about to beat him. Oh, well, Reyes was about to. It didn't. Unanimous decision on both fronts. John Bones Jones. And don't let me get into all the champions Jon Jones has defeated, because, yeah, more than George. A lot more than George. It's going to take a lot more than a damn picogram for me to put Georges St-Pierre above John Jones as the greatest fighter of all time. Because you know what? John Bones didn't tap. Vitor Belfort was pop, lock, and dropping John Bones Jones' arm. And he shimmied the fuck out of that motherfucker. What George do? He tapped before Hughes even had the arm extended. This is your GOAT. Well, it's not mine. Is Stipe Miocic the greatest heavyweight of all time? He got flatlined by Stefan Skyscraper motherfucking Struve. So no. Is Georges St-Pierre the greatest fighter of all time? Well, I think his track record speaks for itself. Hell no. With that being said, your boy's about to get out of here. And I gotta just say, what's up to the fam. I'm talking about everybody that heard today that the UFC and the WWE are gonna merge with Endeavor, buying the WWE. Yeah, I called that months ago. Called it months ago. So again, you let me know what you think in the comments. Is Stipe the greatest heavyweight of all time? Is Georges St-Pierre the greatest fighter of all time? Let me know. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and until next time. That's right. Stay frosty.